Hey, it's Blasto Mike, and today I have Dave and Tony from GraveReign. But before we get to that, I got the misunfortunate news that my friend Ryan Almighty, people might know him because he did the ash paintings with Marilyn or with Manson's ashes when he passed away, and he's known for doing blood paintings and things like that. And he was part of my show, Hanging Out of the Box. Passed away this morning, and it's hit me pretty hard because I talked to him last week and we were supposed to do an interview, but he got put in the hospital and he wanted to do it, but I didn't want to do it because I didn't want people to see him in that type of a situation in a hospital gown. And that he's the second person from Hanging Out of the Box to die this year. Jonathan Tiersten, who was a little boy in sleepaway camp, was a co-host with us on the show, and we did shows all through the pandemic. And I've got a lot of them that I'm going to try to put together when I learn how to edit. But I just wanted to say it's a pretty sad day because Ryan was such a colorful guy, and he had the most unusual thing. He had horns in his head that he had implanted on each side and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to say that, and we'll get this underway because it's took a minute to try to get it put together. So
Sorry
anyway,
for your loss, my friend. Very
Yeah.
sorry for your loss.
it's it's horrible when people die, and I know you weren't I know that you took the place of Ross the Boss in Man of War, but I know that
Many,
it hit you
many years
hard.
ago.
I
Yeah.
know that it hit you pretty hard, Mr. Shankle, when he
Yeah.
died. And
Oh, yeah. We were good friends before I was even in Man of War. Ross and I were good friends, and we just lost him. And many benefits are going on for him to get involved in. But, like anything, you make the most of life while you can.
exactly. And Ross was one of those kind of guys that he created two genres of music with punk rock with the Dictators and
Hmm.
then Manowar. There was not a really a band
He
like
started
that.
that band, Man of War.
Yeah, I mean, so you know, to see him pass away and to see people reach out. I mean, it was national news, and most people in the metal industry don't get national news, and he did. So it
Of
showed how much
course.
people really loved him and
Course, in the
stuff.
metal industry, anybody that's anybody in some way or form are going to have fans and people with respect, family members, friends, fans all over the world. People will reach out, just not nothing. And he was certainly not just nothing. Again, we did 6 records with Man of War, and we were friends before that. We met during the Fighting the World time. And then I came in right during the mixing of Kings of Metal and was already writing the Triumph of Steel as we were preparing the tour for Kings of Metal. So one thing rolled into another, and
Mhm.
God rest his soul, and he'll never be forgotten.
No, I don't think you will.
Yeah,
But
no.
anyway, so let's talk a little bit about Grave Rain. That's the reason why we're here.
Mhm.
I have to say, Tony, your vocals are absolutely amazing on them.
Thanks, man.
And, it's one of those things you look at a person, you go, that guy can't sing that way, can he? It's kind of like looking at Neil Fallon from Clutch. He's like a little dude, but what he belts out is just like unreal. It's,
Yeah.
and that's not profiling. It's just a matter of you'd think that you were in a Southern rock band or something, but
Yeah.
but the stuff's really good. How did Grave Rain come about?
So I was in a band called Veilside that I fronted for many years. Dave even helped us out. He was waiting for his album to drop, a DSG record to drop, and
Still a warrior.
yep. And we ended up firing a guitar player, and Dave was like, and I called him because Dave and I have been friends for years, and I said, "Man, we've got like a bunch of shows for the summer," and he goes, "Well, I'm not doing anything until this record's released." So Dave ended up joining Veilside for a summer.
Mhm.
I believe we ended our run at the Farm Rock show. We opened for
Mhm.
Queensryche, and Dave is friends with Parker Lundgren, who was the guitar player at the time, because Parker had played on Dave's album, and Dave had played on something for Parker. So,
Mhm.
long story short, we had always kicked around the idea of writing together, and then my bass player passed away right before the pandemic. So then Dave called me and he said I was going to go to Argentina. He was in a band down there at the time called Fionor. Shout out to Gus. And so basically he said, I was going to go down there and do some shows. Everything got canceled because of this damn pandemic. So he and I started writing. I was going to retire. And so we started writing, and we just did a song or two together. And I called him up one day and I'm like, this is really good, man. We should just keep going. So we kept writing. The guy that I work with in the studio fronts a celestial death metal band called Mechana. And Joe has been a kind of like the third member with us, for Dave and I, as far as like sounding board and helping us work stuff out. And so long story short, Joe, about 4 songs in, went, you guys are in the middle of a concept record. And we were like, yeah, it does kind of seem like that. So we storyboarded the rest of it out, and Destination Aftermath came the next year.
Became to be what it is. And building upon the songs and the ideas we had for the image behind it, that's when I, wrote the song with Tony, On the Wings of Fafnir, and then had one of my signature guitars through Viper, Jeff Heitman, we built and had the whole entire paint that I bought this artwork for Fafnir to be painted on the guitar, and it was hand done by Bo Pittman, and he did a phenomenal job. Now you can get the guitar still. I've sold many, thank God for that, but it has a wrap around it, and you would not be able to tell if it's hand painted or a wrap on some of the ones that have been sold. So I'm happy for that, and many more to come. And that's one of the songs we wrote, was On the Wings of Fafnir, because I had that guitar painted with that. And that's how Tony and I work. He'll give me an idea, something he's thinking in his head with a title, or I'll give him an idea with a title, and I'll start writing the music of what sets in my mind that will set the tone for that type of song. Moving on to the new record, Icon of the Accursed, I said to him, you know what? Let's just shift gears for a minute here, and let's do the next record about things that have really happened in life, people that have really done bad things. People's made movies about them. We'll just turn it into song. Genghis Khan, Jack the Ripper, Dahmer, these things really happened. We just turned it into brutal music. So this is how, when I gave Tony that idea, Tony's very good at going, okay, Jack the Ripper, good title. Oh, Genghis Khan. And he'll storyboard everything out, and we'll do a lot of investigating and reading up on what we're going to sing about, because that puts him right in the picture of what happened, for what lyrics to use around the music I'm writing, that we agreed that fits what's going to be right. Like, what makes Jack the Ripper that song versus Genghis Khan? Well, when I started writing Khan in my mind, I knew what kind of music I wanted that to be. And I share always bits and pieces of each song with Tony, so we can go a little farther, or do this or do that. Okay, I'm going to do this, do that, you do this. And we work together so well, like a well-oiled machine, that it just works beautifully.
I have a question for you, Mr. Shankle, first.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that guitar there with you that you're talking about?
Yes, I do. Let me grab this. My babies are never too far from me.
Well, it's funny because I told Dave I wanted one of the prototypes in the will.
And so I've got a company that builds this in little model scales. He does them for a lot of people. And there it is.
Oh, that's nice, man. What kind of guitar is that?
And you can see Fafnir. And all my stuff is custom handmade, super cutaway, that I've done long and many years before I was in Manowar, that, you couldn't buy guitars like that. Now, a lot of guitars, some of them, companies and these guys that are, luthiers on their own, are building guitars with cutaway. But see, when you slide up, This was Jeff's idea to have that little ramp
Yeah.
like that. So when you slide up, your thumb comes right up, and all the problem areas for me, they're cut out of the way. So I could get all the way up on that low 7 string and nothing's going kink, kink, and in the way. So I can just whip around and shred and, wake him
It's a
up, and then he can
it's
go
a
kick
beautiful
people's
guitar.
ass. And
It's a beautiful
then I
guitar.
could stab your ass. Thank you.
The DS shred machine.
Yeah,
So
7
my
string.
my my
And
song.
I got a black one like this, but this is the Viper. And everything I've used for years: Ernie Ball strings, EMG pickups, my own custom Kaler with the Dave Shankle shred bar. Because as you can tell, it's not shorter and got that little curve to it like some other tremolos. And I just like it longer. And this is, I think, locking jack. So if you're playing and if you're using a cable, most of the time I'm wireless, you can't step on it and move your guitar and the cable falls out. You look like a jamoke and a crumb. That doesn't happen. Always
So
remember, you got to push that button to pull the guitar cable out if you're using a cable. And all mine have these locking jacks like that. And I got my new Super 8 string coming soon. That's multi-scale, 23.5 inch on the bottom and 25.5 on the top. So it can be tuned to standard tuning, because some of the other bands and some stuff I'll be doing with Tony, standard tuning 8 string. But I don't use a low F sharp. I have a bass player in a band. So, and we tune normally a full step down. My other 8 string that I have is tuned a full step down, and it's a high G with the low A. The new 8 string will be standard tuning with the fan fret in, because you cannot tune that high A string to A without having a shorter scale. So I'm getting pictures of that one done and painted soon. So then I'll have one at A440 that's designed for that tuning. And then I have my main other one that's full step down for GraveReign to brutally melt your face and crush you.
so my
And that's
question
the
for you,
soft
Tony.
side of the music that we do.
So my question for you, Tony. Can you give us the titles of the new album, which actually, at the time of this interview, comes out today,
Yeah.
and all that? What are the titles?
Okay, so the first album is called Destination Aftermath, and the one that came out today is called Icon of the Accursed.
What are the song titles?
Oh, on Icon of the Accursed, there's Genghis Khan, the Holodomor, which is a Ukrainian famine, Unit
Jack the Ripper.
731,
Yeah.
Follow the Leader, which is Jim Jones, War Machine,
Jack the Ripper.
Escape from the Oxford Apartments, which is Dahmer. I wrote that from Tracy Edwards' perspective. He was the guy that actually got away.
Yeah.
The Prosperity Gospel. And Last Words of the Condemned, I believe, is and I think that covers the originals.
And then we have one of my classical guitar pieces, Classical Gas.
So did you watch the Netflix Dahmer before
I did,
you
actually.
did it?
I did.
What a phenomenal show, man.
It was quite spooky, yeah.
That guy did such a great job as him. I haven't watched the Ed Gein one yet, but the dude that plays Ed Gein in it, oh my God, he looks just like him.
Yeah.
It's so weird that we have, and this goes into a question, that we have such a fixation on serial killers. I mean, like me, for instance, I really love to watch stuff about the Green River Killer, Gary Ridgway.
I was BTK. Dennis Rader. I found that fascinating.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Shankle?
What's that?
He's asking if you got into serial killers.
Oh,
what was your serial killer?
I'm not into them, but I'm intrigued by the minds that these people have to do what they do. And like Jack the Ripper was never caught. And Genghis Khan, how he was, that this is completely different time frames, but their minds are just in this is what you're going to do, or I'm going to kill you and kill your family. And this is it. And that's what they did. Jack the Ripper had to have been one hell of a smart son of a bitch and mental to do what he did and be clever enough about it to never get caught. So they claim to this
Let me
day.
clarify that point, actually, Mike. Let me clarify that point.
Okay.
One of the things that Dave and I, when we started out, we didn't want to do an album of serial killers.
Right.
We kind of felt that pond has been fished in already. So what we really were, but obviously we were looking at the human condition that is evil. So Genghis Khan wasn't a serial killer, but he killed 11% of the world's population during his time. Jim Jones wasn't a serial killer, but he killed 900 people. So that's evil, man. And if you listen to the death tapes, they're not only creepy as hell, they're evil. So Dave and I did not want to start out with let's write an album about serial killers, because that was almost low-hanging fruit for us. And the other thing we didn't want to touch was the Third Reich. That's also been fished through a bunch too. We wanted to look at stories that were real, not lore, so that's why we didn't do a song about Elizabeth Bathory, who killed virgins and bathed in their blood, because that's more urban legend than real. Jack the Ripper was real. Dahmer, real. The prosperity gospel is a real thing.
That stuff really happened. We wrote about, and if those that have listened to the whole record and those songs, these pieces that are in the song from the news people are actually taken from the actual reporters at the time that were there on the scene or afterwards that spoke about it. And the letter for Jack the Ripper that was claimed he sent to the police. I mean, all that is being written in what we talk about as a story in the song, in the lyric video. Our first lyric video is Jack the Ripper. And
I used his letter in the pre-chorus of the song. So the letter that he wrote to taunt the police, we actually had to give Jack the Ripper a writing credit because we used his letter
as
the pre-chorus to the song.
Well, let me ask you this, both of you. Do you think if Jack the Ripper was in this day and time, he would have got caught?
Absolutely.
Yes,
100% is a game changer.
It's a whole different thing of what technology was back then to what these investigators, police people, and the people that are just crime scene experts would have caught that guy. And it would have been a lot harder for him to do what he's doing now than he did back then. I believe that. But that's why he's who he is during that time and around the state fair, and that worked for that crazy, whatever you want to call it, different time, different thing. Just like Genghis Khan, we still have those people of this today. They're just in a different image, a different world. They're playing it a different way. Unfortunately, we still do, and probably always will, unfortunately.
Well,
serial killers had their heyday in the 70s. That was their heyday.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point when you say that, because I just rewatched the Green River Killer story with Tom. I forget his name. He's the cop, and he killed all these people, but they couldn't figure out why or who he was in the early 80s, going into the 90s, and he stopped killing for like 8 years, I think. And he found him, and it's because of DNA. Because DNA had become a thing that they could look at. It was brand new at the time, but that and the fact they used, what's his name, Ted Bundy, to profile him, is how they found him, So it's wild how technology has solved a lot of mysteries over the years in DNA, and he might have got away with it if they wouldn't have known about DNA at that time.
Yeah. And they've gone back. I mean, that's a good point you brought up, is years and years ago, as you said, DNA and the investigation and the technology we have has gone back and solved some murders from 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago because they have the evidence that they can go back in and search and go, now we can prove you were there or you did this or here's your DNA, whatever. You don't hear about it as much, but when it was first coming out, they were going back and solving crimes then, and that was a bad deal for the people that got caught because they thought they were living free, and all of a sudden that ended for them very badly.
Yeah, but in America, I don't want to say just America, in the world, there's cameras everywhere now.
Yeah,
There's people that talk everywhere. Social media is such a huge thing now
yeah,
that,
it is.
that it'd be hard not to be found. But I want to move on. So, did you all record this in the same studio together, or did you all send parts, or what?
So Dave's got a home studio and records most of his stuff at home. And I use Mechana Studio, Apotheca Studios out of Batavia. So I basically would get the music from Dave. I'd sit down, do whatever edits I thought needed to happen to the music, lay the vocals down, send those to Dave. Dave would come back and go, that's a hit, or hey, move that up, move that down. We're kind of
We would work back and forth with each other before.
And then I'd go back in, and once it's settled, then we move on to the next song. And then once we had a group of them, Dave would come down. We'd sit in the studio together and mix and master those, and then go to the next set.
So you all were in the same room recording stuff.
Yes.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that technology lets you take a song and send it to somebody else, send it to somebody else, send it to somebody else until it's done?
Well, yeah, he's in Milwaukee and I'm in Chicago.
We do a lot of the mixing and pre-mastering ourselves with Tony and I. And then I'll do what I can do with drum programming just so we can get closer to a finished groove and drive what's going on that's in my vision, and then give it to Tony with his vision. Then we bring it together, make what little changes we need. And as we feel we're pretty happy with that, we'll put that on the shelf and work on the next one. And then things will start going to Joe, our engineer, and then he'll start recording Tony's tracks, theirs, and I'll get stems over to him. Once we have pretty much 99% of the cake baked, then I start going out to the studio with Tony and Joe's, and we start pulling up the tracks up, really drigging in, and then bringing the real drums in and everything, and etc. and all that, and then turning it into the masterpiece of glory that it is, or brutality to melt your face. There you go.
What he said.
Yeah.
What he said.
Run it up a flagpole and see who salutes it. And those that like it, wonderful. If they don't, that's okay too. We just keep moving on. We do what makes us happy and our fans happy, and we're glad for all the fans we got from Tony and his days at Valeside and me and the band and Man of War, DSG, everything. And still, these people still come to the GraveReign thing, and they're all excited to see us get out and play later this summer and towards the end of the year, and we will be at etc. and all the swag and everything, and come get our t-shirts and CDs and what we got. Tons of stuff. We'll be showing my hot sauces. Got my own line of hot sauce. People buy that. Come to the show and come enjoy our music. If you like it, great. Tell your friends. Come see us again. If you don't like us, don't come again. We'll have enough people that do.
Shankle, it's wild that you said you're going to have your own hot sauce, because I'm friends with a doomed Stoner Rock legend, Bobby Liebland, who's in Pentagram. We're really good friends, and they just released their own hot sauce. Is that the new thing? Is people are releasing hot sauce instead of...
Dave's has been
I
out
think for a while it was a little bit of a fad. I know Bumblefoot, a friend of mine, he had a little thing he was doing with hot sauce for a while, but I don't know if it's still out there. And a few other people, but I've been doing mine since I did the Valeside show at FireRock and met the people at Hellfire Hot Sauce here in Lake Geneva. And I have 2 bottles. I have the Full Shred and Shred Demon, and we're possibly working on the third one, Hotness, in the middle of the 2, called, very pleasant name, Soul Stealer. Yeah, yeah.
That's
So
hilarious.
we're working on that, and all that stuff is at our swag table. And sometimes, if the company's available, they come out with their truck and set their booth right up next to ours with all their other sauces. So it's one big party of hot sauce and swag and t-shirts and fun and music and pillagement and rape and whatever. Hold on, did Genghis Khan just come back? No,
That
no,
took a
Well,
turn.
no.
Tony, do you all have any
Just
dates
kidding,
yet?
everybody. Okay.
So what a lot of people don't know is Dave and ended up getting a situation where he thought he was going to need surgery, and he ended up getting stem cell research done and avoided getting under the knife. But what it did was it took us out of playing, so we didn't do any dates for the first record. So rather than try and come out a year later and support the first record, we came out together and said, let's just work on the next record. Dave's healed up, so once we'll start rehearsals soon, and then we'll kind of book out. But now we at least have 2 albums worth of material to pick from as well, because the first one we were kind of pigeonholed. We could only play the first album, and this one we've got between it, we've got 24 songs that we can play, and obviously for us, and our songs are longer, which is why we don't do vinyl. But so with the longer songs, it gives us more selection to choose from, and I think it'll help us in the long run on as far as the live show goes.
So how can people reach out to you all to buy merchandise or to
to our website, which is the GraveReign.com.
Yep.
It's got the bios of everybody that's in the band, pictures, links to most or all of our endorsements, all our swag for Destination Aftermath t-shirt, CD, Veilside CDs, all 3 DSG CDs, Hot Sauce, Feanor CD, my buddy Gus, and other little trinklets that we have and more stuff that we'll be bringing. And the new CD is available there. You could buy it in package deals or just the CD. And one of our songs is up there on our playlist in the website, which is the Holdemore, isn't it? I think that's the one that's up there, which is also known as The Hunger, because that's what that means. Because I could never pronounce that word.
You never
I
could.
just said The Hunger. Okay, there you go. So
well,
that's where you can order
interesting.
stuff and listen to that song. And eventually the stuff, it's all up on Spotify now and other social media digital platforms you can go listen to and buy it and download it from there. But it's all over Spotify, both the records, Destination Aftermath, Icon of the Accursed. And if you live through it, then you can come order a CD, because it's not for the faint of heart, either one of them. It is powerful, epic, symphonic metal and a storytelling. And it's what we do for those that like what we do.
There you go.
Well, I gotta ask you before we go. What do you think of digital opposed to physical product?
So I'll give it to you in simple dollars and cents terms.
There's 2 answers to that.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Tony knows them both.
So
I'll let him tell you.
The first answer is in dollars and cents. If you play a GraveReign song on Spotify, I think we get 0.00016 cents per play. So if you really like and enjoy a band, don't go listen to them on Spotify unless you're in your car, and that was what makes it easier. Hey, I'm going to listen to my Spotify account. But the band doesn't really make their money there. You got to support them, because the CD is where you actually make your money. The physical media is where you make your money. That being said, the second answer to that is the digital world allows us to get out and share it with everybody, because people that it doesn't, there are a lot of people who probably listen to this going, never heard of GraveReign. We understand. Go and check it out. We think you're going to like it. It's great melodic power metal, and I think that it does give us the avenue to get out and play. You can play in anybody's living room now. It doesn't have to be somebody local. That's one of the things I like about it. The barrel of crabs mentality gets a little tough. There you go. The barrel of crabs mentality gets a little tough. It's super hard to you kind of assume that I've written great songs. The cream should rise to the top. Unfortunately, it doesn't always work that way. You know, there's just so much inundation that and hot sauce.
There you go. Full shred.
That's the answer in a nutshell. There's the two sides of
Red
that
Demon
coin.
will blow your mouth off. For you people, you could get those at the website. First record, Destination Aftermath, with On the Wings of Fafnir on my DS7 Fafnir. And there's the new one, people, right there, okay? And we're happy to say to thank Tom from FireRock
Absolutely.
Music Group, him and all those people, our manager, Johnny Pendergrass, who has been with me for 35 years since the day I stepped into Man-O-War and every band I've been involved in. All these are available at the website. T-shirts with this and the name of the band. T-shirts with this now. Hot sauce, Veilside CDs, all the DSGs, everything you can want until we add more. All is at our website, GraveReignBand.com. Just wanted to get that out there for those that are listening.
And I've also got to give a quick shout out to Tom Collier and the fam at FireRock Records. We're happy to be with those guys. So,
oh yeah, Tom's a great guy. Great guy. We love him.
I'm kind of partial because I work with the label, so I'm kind of partial to the whole thing. You know, I wasn't the one that got you signed, but I'm glad you're part of the label, and I'm glad that you understand what me and Tom are trying to do and how we want to give the power back to bands and artists. You know,
that's a wonderful thing. And guys like you are very important to all bands, especially bands like us, because it's a lot different now than it was 30, 40 years ago when Man-O-War started and other bands before them and after. There's so much that bands have to do on their own. And with social media and this AI stuff, and before AI, you really relied on somebody that knows Photoshop and everything. You got to be able to write, record, do stuff in your own home, and then get it to an engineer if you have to, if you're not at a professional level of mixing and recording. And online radio stations, guys like you that do interviews and want to do bands, that helps keep us alive out there for people to know about it, you know, because if it's not that, how much can you keep hearing about Taylor Swift or Jennifer Lopez or these guys? And that's all great for them and that scene. This is, you know, what keeps metal bands alive. And, you know, thank you for doing what you do.
Yeah, well, thank you. And, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, I mean, when Tom came to me and asked me to be a part of the label, it was probably one of the best days of my life because I'm 54 years old and I tell the story all the time. I remember that time sitting in the English class, not giving a shit about school, thinking about how I was going to go to LA because I watched Decade of Decadence. I mean, what was it called? I'm losing my mind. The Metal Years.
Oh yeah.
I watched the Metal Years when I was a kid, and I was like, I got to go to LA. That's where I want to go. And then fast forward doing Rocklahoma and meeting all these people that I dreamed of meeting, and then fast forward to that, meeting guys like Bobby from Pentagram, and saying they were my friend, and it's like, wow, I've gone so far at 54 years old, but I haven't gone far enough, you know? So to be a part of the label is really important to me to help young bands and older bands get what they deserve. I mean, I've heard the horror stories. Well, I didn't get paid for anything. You know, I got a friend named Dave Tice. He was a singer of a band called Buffalo in Australia. And I helped him get a deal. And that's the first time he got paid, but he did 5 albums with Buffalo. But, you know, the same old story. They signed all their rights away in 1971, you know. So they were still doing that stuff in 1971. It's not a new thing that labels take advantage of bands. And that's the reason why I think when Tom came to me and said, "Hey, this is the way we're going to do it," it clicked. And it's awesome that you all are part of this, because like we're talking about Ross, you're able to keep his playing style alive, you Shankle, and it's just amazing, man. I thought about this the other day. How many bands and artists have we not seen that have music that maybe nobody in the world will ever see?
That's right.
It's a mind blowing thought that there's music that we'll never hear or see.
And let
You
me let
know?
me inject one thing on that. And even to this day, I agree with you. But think about before there was internet, there was so many bands out there and musicians and all these things we see now by a click of a button. That stuff was always out there. You're just able to see it now because of the vast world and technology of internet
Okay.
and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. People anywhere in the swamps of Tennessee can be a phenomenal banjo player, and you never even knew he lived. And
No.
somebody filmed him and went, "This guy's incredible." And somebody got a video of him, and here he is because of technology. They've always been there, folks. Now it's just easier to at least show it to the world, whether you're trying to make a living doing it or just putting it up for fun. There's just greatness out there everywhere, as well as there is horribleness too. There's many sides. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's objective uh, of the whole thing. I'm not a
Yeah.
huge death
Yeah.
metal fan. I'm not a huge power metal fan. I'm my two genres I stay in is glam and stoner rock. Those are the
Uh-huh.
two things I like to listen to. But that doesn't mean that a death metal band ain't good or a
Exactly.
progressive metal ain't good or a rap artist or, whoever doesn't mean they're not good. It's just my preference of what I listen to. And you probably understand that because you all probably listen to stuff too that you have a preference for.
My
So,
other band is is literally a dark pop progressive band.
holy crap, what are they called?
Blockchain Coalition.
That's
Oh,
his
Coming out in September.
that's his other band.
oh my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
like softer rock stuff like my other band, Wings of Destiny, our new record, Masters of War, and then we did a 5-song EP with 2 Manowar songs I wrote, Ride the Dragon and Master of the Wind. That's all
Oh,
getting ready. That came out a few years ago. Now it's a double CD that's coming together. We tour in Mexico and Costa Rica in November.
nice.
By that time, GraveReign will be ready to be out
oh
hitting and
yeah.
playing. And then I have another project, Metal Crusaders, with Rhino, who I brought into Manowar to play on the Triumph of Steel. That record's in the mixing stages as we speak. So many projects we're in, and it's all good. But like I said earlier,
You have
with
to.
me and Tony, we are just so locked in with a well-oiled machine that we can read what each person's going to say next. The moment I send him something, I think I know where he's going with that. And Tony will come to me and call me, and I'll go, I know where he's going to go. That's how well we work together and make our music for what we like, what we do.
And speaking of, Dave's got 2 solos on the new Blockchain record when that comes
Yeah.
out. So
Oh, my goodness.
he helped me write one of the songs.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be like that. You got to be in all kinds of different bands.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
if y'all know. Do you all know Alex Kane?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Alex. Good dude.
Yeah, we
He
know
was in a
Alex.
band
Grew
called
up
Life,
with him.
Sex, and Death out here a long time ago.
Yeah.
Well, Alex, we met him at we were at Texas Hippie, and this band was open. And I can't remember what the name of the band is. It's one of the bands he plays with, but not all the bands because this guy told us, he's like, well, it's like this. So I'll go out with this band, then I'll go out and do stuff with Donnie from Enough's Enough. Then
Right.
I'll go out and do stuff with Chip from Enough's Enough. And then I'll go to this band and do this. He goes, if you do it that way, you're on the road all the time. You're always making money. And, you mentioned that you have package deals on your website. Alex is all about the package deal.
Yeah, we
You
bundle
know?
everything.
Yeah, he's all about the bundle, you know. He's all about selling stuff because, you know, after during the show he was selling stuff of his band, and actually he was doing LSD stuff too. So, you know, when I met him, it was a pleasure to meet him because I knew him from LSD, you know, and I'm a huge Donnie V fan, and he works with Donnie all the time, and you know, like I said, it's amazing, man, when you get in this business and the people you meet and the people that, you know, that you consider friends and then family, you know. So Tom Collier is my family. He
Mhm.
always will be. He's one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life. He cares about music, he cares about the people,
Mhm.
and this label's going to blow up one day. It's really going to blow up one day when people get in their head like you all did. Wow, wait a minute. I don't want to take money up front. I don't want to be owing a label money, and I can do it myself. Well, we make CDs anyway, so why not do it, right?
Mhm.
There's nothing to lose. I mean, in this situation.
Right.
So,
Exactly. So we
but
were
anyway, I've
super
been
happy because it made total sense for the two of us to do that. So
I don't want to toot my own horn about the record
It's
label,
okay.
but
We're all here for a reason, and we're here with you. Thanks to Tom.
hey,
And
Dave, let me give a quick shout out to Mick Lucid,
yep.
Michael Ray,
Hey,
and
Jack.
Jack, who is our rhythm guitarist. The other guys in the band, you know, Dave and I have done all the writing, and we did bring Jack in toward the end to help with some
To
backing
do some
vocals.
vocals.
But for
Tony
our
does
live
all the
shows, we
vocals
needed the
on the
right guys
record
to,
and harmonies and brings in
yeah.
sometimes Ron. We want to thank him
Ron
from
Thomas, my
Blockchain,
drummer
his
in
buddy. He
Blockchain.
does vocals, and I play all the instruments on the record. Mick played
oh,
bass on some of the stuff. And you know, we brought in Jack to do a couple of vocals and everything. So now we felt it was time to bring these two guys in with Mickey and Tony and I, just to fill the band out with all the parts for live and rehearsals. And
Yep.
we think that was a very good decision. And we're excited to get it into rehearsals very quickly here in July, and, you know, fire up and, you know, and see where we're going with it. And then, like Tony and I have discussed, like he said earlier, we never rehearsed the first record. Now we got, thank you again, two records to choose material from to decide what's the best fit for the band live versus exactly what's on the record. And most of it we can play, but it's like anything. We get in, kick the dust off the shoes, and what really takes hold of the band and go, yes, 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 or no, no, no. Yeah.
Yep.
yeah,
For live. For live.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Well, it's been good talking to you guys,
You too, buddy.
and give me just a minute, okay?
Pleasure's ours, man, and we hope to talk to you again soon.